Harry, this is a large potato, and this is what if Luffy was the reincarnation of Kakashi, Hatake, and Gojo Satoru. But yeah, so of course, let me do a recap on what happened last time. Luffy, he met Shanks. Of course, he even used Conquer Spirits on some of the bandits when the bandits tried to, attack Shanks and also Makina. This is where Naruto used, well, not Naruto. Luffy uses Conquer for hacking, not for the first time. He actually used it before, but yeah. Shanks did train him in how to use Armament Hawk and Observation Hawking, well, only the basics. And after that, Luffy could have used it pretty easily. Of course, he was actually brought to the bandit side, met Ace, and after that met also Sabo. Ace really never trust what's called Luffy when they were younger, but of course when Luffy kind of showed that he would actually protect him, they will let Luffy kind of join them, kind of go and rob shit and all that. Of course, they met the Blue Jays. Luffy really fucked them up. Celestial Dragon tried to attack what's called Luffy, but well, not Celestial Dragon tried to attack him. But a Celestial Dragon were coming to the what's called island. Luffy went Purple Hollow and fucked him up. Luffy's bounty is called what's called the White Ghost because of his hair. So yeah, the White Ghost. Of course, that's all they could really call him. Yeah, they really didn't call him Monkey D. Luffy. It's mostly the White Ghost, but yeah. So, of course, this is where, well, Luffy, when he was, 17, he was leaving. Of course, he met the Vita Pirates, and yeah, blah, blah, blah. We just go all the way towards Kobe. Of course, after Luffy kind of set sail with the Vita Pirates ship and all that, after knocking them all out and throwing them into the water, even though it was called, well, he managed to just, not punch Avita, just flick Avita and throw her out of the way. But yeah. Now, of course, they're going to the town, I think it was Orange Town. I think that's what it was called. They go towards it, and they are, at the place where they meet Zoro and all that. So yeah, we go there. Of course, Luffy's hearing about Zoro, and this is where Luffy kind of jumped over, like, the, wall, and saw Zoro. Of course, where Zoro is just looking at Luffy confusedly because he never seen a man wearing, a freaking blindfold over his face unless he's gonna get assassinated and all that, or killed, executed, or anything like that. But this is where Luffy says, he must be Zoro. Can you join my crew? This is where Zoro says, what the? He just saw Luffy all the way up there, and when he blinked, Luffy was already in front of him. And Luffy is right now kind of acting like Gojo a little bit. Now, of course, this is where, Zoro says, no, go away. This is where Luffy says, fine. This is where, Kobe says, this is bad. This is where a little girl, they're telling him about giving food and all. This is where Hapepo, whatever his goddamn name was again, did, smash the, cupcakes or whatever, the rice cakes, and throw the little girl out of the, out of the place and all that, into the wall. Of course, Kobe managed to catch her, but this is where Luffy was kind of annoyed, but Luffy didn't attack him just yet. This is where Luffy does give him the rice cakes towards Zoro and all that. And Zoro says, can you please tell that little girl those rice cakes were delicious? This is where Luffy says, sure. This is where Luffy disappears, and of course, Zoro doesn't really get how Luffy's that fast. He seems, for some reason, familiar. Like he's seen him before or something. He doesn't know why. So, of course, we go into Luffy, kind of telling what's called the little girl that Zoro really did enjoy the rice cakes. And, of course, this is where Hapepo comes, and this is where Luffy asks about what's called the execution and all that. And, of course, this is where Hapepo says, of course, I'm going to execute him. This is where, and Luffy doesn't react like piss and all that. Actually, he does. He is pissed. A red glow kind of goes from his eye. Well, two red glows, mostly. This is where, Luffy does, kick him right down to the ground. Of course, the other two Marines try to protect, Hapepo, but this is where they get smashed to the skull and knocked out. Yeah, Luffy's pissed. And, of course, Luffy does, say, fuck off, bitch. Smash him to the ground, and, of course, he's knocked out. Of course, we go into a couple hours. Hapepo goes back towards his, what's it called, father Morgan to complain about this one person being mean to him and all that. But Luffy's not caring. He still jumps over the, what's the thing, and tells Zoro about what's it called. Jumps over the fence and all that. Of course, tells Zoro about what's it called. Well, how Hot Pepper was lying and all that. And yeah, that's where Zoro says, damn it, can you get my 3 swords? That's where Luffy nodded. And of course, that's where Luffy says, well, the only thing to go is probably up. Luffy disappeared, and it's right now, well, on top of a giant ugly ass statue. This is where Luffy says, this is such an ugly statue. This is where he kind of put his leg up and then just smashed down, crushing the, well, statue. This is where Morgan is pissed. This is where he tries to attack what's called Luffy, until Luffy grabs Hot Pepper and says, come on, give me Zoro's 3 swords. That's where Hot Pepper just nodded and says, well, he says, I won't do it. And this is where Luffy says, I will throw you into the sea and see how far you can swim. This is where Hamama says, no, I'll give you my 3 swords. This is where they go to a room, and he seems really, really fucking girly. Luffy thought that this man brought him to the wrong room, but of course sees the 3 swords and says, this must be his fucking room. God, what the fuck? Whatever. This is where Luffy knocks out Hot Pepper and does kind of run outside. He does see what's called, well, Kobe trying to, well, untie what's called Zoro. And of course, this is where, the Marine says, well, Morgan says, aim, fire. This is where, well, Kobe says, ah. This is where Zoro says, no. This is where, well, something happens. All the bullets are floating in midair. This is where Luffy, he is right now kind of pissed and says, you bastards really pissing me off. Sends a wave of Conqueror Spirit, knocking them all out. This is where, what's it called? Not Hot Pepper. Morgan says, who the hell are you exactly? Luffy, he takes out one of the swords, puts Armor Mahawkin, and cuts through the, well, rope easily. This is where Zoro says, what the hell is that? Luffy didn't explain what is it. And of course, this is where Luffy, he rushes with the sword that he still has with black Armor Mahawkin and all that. Well, it's not black, it's mostly kind of purplish, but yeah. This is where, that's basically Luffy's kind of aura and all that. It's not red and all that. So Luffy rushes forward to Morgan and slashes at what's called Morgan. This is where Morgan gets cut down and dies. Yeah, that's where Zoro could not done anything. Luffy, he turns off the Armor Mahawkin to the sword and just give it back towards what's called Zoro. Zoro is kind of amazed, looking at his sword saying, how the fuck did you do that? Luffy ignores him, says, will you still join my crew? This is where Zoro says, unless you fight me, I will join your crew. That's where Luffy kind of smiles and says, bring it on. Oh my, he says. This is where Zoro charges at Luffy and does 3 sword style. And of course, his 3 swords are right now in front of Luffy, not even cutting him. This is where Zoro says, how the hell are you doing this? Luffy says, how about let's see the gravity between us? So he's waving his hand right in front of Zoro. And Zoro's like, okay, I'll trust you. So of course the gravity between them is not even there that much. Well, it's there and all that. Zoro can't like hold his hand with Luffy and all. And this is where Luffy says, you see here, it's the limitless. Zoro says the limitless what? Grabs Zoro's hand and freaking kicks Zoro in the stomach. Knocking him out. So yeah. Of course, this is where Luffy takes him towards the, well, place that was called the little girl mother still owns and all that. So yeah. Of course, this is when Zoro wakes up. He says, what the hell happened? You're not my crewmate. I'll knock the hell out of you, bitch. Zoro grumbles and says, yeah. Whatever. What's it called? So, who are the other crewmates? You're the first one. So you're my first, what's it called? Crew member. So that Zoro says, are you serious? Yep. This is where Zoro says, okay. This is where Marines appear. They are sure grateful, but they still, what's it called, have to make Luffy and Zoro leave. Of course, this is where the little girl kind of protests and all that, and other people do protest. But of course, Luffy kind of waves off and says, it's fine. And besides, I don't really care what happens. But yeah. Come on, Zoro. This is where, well, he, of course, the Marine says about Kobe. Luffy says, right, about Kobe. Wait, he pulls out a snail and goes into a transmitter. He's like, ring, 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 ring. The snail goes, ring, 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 ring. This is where the person on the other side hears it and says, yes, hello. This is, what's it called, Garp. And this is where everyone hears Garp's name in, well, what's it called? Not Garp's name. He says, yes, this is, Vice, I think he was like Admiral Vice, not Vice, Admiral, Garp. And do you need something? This is where everyone hears it. And they're like, wait, how the hell does Luffy know how, well, a Admiral? Luffy then says, hey, grandfather. This is where everyone goes shocked. They're like, wait, what? This is where Garp says, you little brat. What the hell are you calling me now for? Luffy says, oh, come on, grandfather. Can't your grandson call you? I love you too. I was just hoping you didn't die by a heart attack or something. This is where Garp says, you little brat. I'm about to find you. I'm going to break your fucking head. Luffy says, I love you too, grandfather. This is where Garp says, I know you weren't calling me for this shit. What is it exactly? Are you finally going to accept being a Marine? Luffy says, of course the fuck not. I'm going to be a fucking pirate king. Fuck you, bitch. This is where Garp says, you bastard. This is where Luffy says, even though I don't want to become a Marine, there's someone here named by Kobe. He's a little bit scared, a frightened kid and all that. But with good training, he could be very strong. So I'm wondering, can you train him to be a Marine? And of course, Garp says, I'm going to train him to beat your ass. You can try, but that's never going to happen. Luffy said. This is where Garp says, screw you, whatever. Where is he at? It's orange. Also, there's a good chance that the Marine captain that was here named Morgan, you might need to get another captain down here. Garp says, he says, I don't even want to ask what the fuck happened to him. I slice him in half. Wait, you don't even use swords. I managed to grab a sword and slice him in half. Fuck's sakes, Luffy. Okay, bye, old man. Hope you don't get a heart attack with this information. Garp says, don't you dare fucking think. And Luffy says, well, Kobe, you're gonna be trained by my grandfather. Don't worry. He might be extremely aggressive, but you'll be fine. Okay? So, let's go. This is where the Marines are kind of shocked to hear that. Well, Luffy's this kid is the grandson of, well, Garp. Admiral Garp. And no one's gonna fuck with Admiral Garp, and Luffy is very strong. This is where Luffy, he says, let's go, Zoro. Zoro's kind of shocked, and says that, why didn't you become a Marine and all that if you're this strong? Luffy says, because I love causing trouble. Let's go on the pirate ship. This is where they go on the ship that was Avito's and all that. But yeah. Of course, they are now going to the next island, and this is where Buggy's at. Of course, they are going, and of course, they see a cannon fly towards them. Luffy, he looks at the cannon, and he says, red, curse energy red. Flicks the, the ball that was about to hit him, and flicks it away. So yeah. This is where Luffy just says, interesting. This is where Zoro says, what the hell? This is so annoying. This is where Zoro says, are you some kind of tofu user? This is where Luffy says, nope, all natural. But don't matter. Let's just keep going. This is where they get to the island, they get off, and of course this is where Zoro says, so are we gonna look for more crewmates? Of course, we're gonna look for a navigator. I'm an idiot to go anywhere without a navigator. And this is where, well, Zoro says, okay, and you might need a navigator also. This is where Zoro says, what? Shots fired to the, what's it called, future Zoro, but yeah. This is where, Luffy just said, he laughed and says, nothing. Of course, Zoro can only guess that Luffy is always smiling. Because he doesn't know any emotions of Luffy, and you can't really see Luffy's emotions in his face and all that. Because, well, you can't see him smile, you can't see him laugh, you can't see him really much anything. And you cannot see his eyes. So, yeah. This is where they are walking. Of course, they see an orange-haired girl with a kind of treasure map and all that. And, of course, 3 people are chasing after her, saying, get her! Get her for Captain Buggy and all that. What the hell was that? They says, get her for Captain Buggy and all that. This is where Nami saw what's called Luffy and Zoro. Now, Luffy's pretty tall. for being a 17-year-old. He's at what's called the height of, well, he is 6 feet. Luffy is 6 feet, but yeah. Of course, this is where Zoro says, "Goddamn, how is this kid so much taller than me?" Or whatever. This is where, well, Nami says, "Hey, Captain, yeah, you're here. Deal with them." This is where the three people were charges at Luffy. Luffy says, "You can deal with them, Zoro." This is where Zoro kills him easily. And of course, this is where Nami kind of gets out of her from her hiding place, thinking that the two people that she actually bumps into, with one with white hair and one with green hair, kind of are dead already. She kind of looks and she sees that the three people that were chasing after her are down on the ground bleeding, with the green haired guy kind of like putting his swords back into his sheath and all, and while Luffy is just like looking around. This is where Zoro kind of asks, well, doesn't ask because he doesn't care that much. He's kind of curious, but not literally that much annoying him. But yeah. This is where they are kind of walking. And this is where Nami, she like appears out of nowhere and says, "Hello there," because she really needs strong people to protect her now. She says, "Hey, do you want to join up in this and that or whatever?" Luffy ignores her, while Zoro does the same. And of course, Nami gets angry and says, "Hey, bastards, I was talking to you." Luffy looks at her and says, "Huh? Oh, you are talking to me? I don't really talk to people who are kind of useless and can't really fight against, well, 3 people. They were easy as hell." This is where, well, Nami gets annoyed, but then she says, "Ha, I don't have a weapon, you see." Luffy says, "Not my problem. I don't even have a weapon either. I could have easily kicked their ass," Luffy said in such a cheery tone. And Nami can actually see the cheerful tone. Now, she thinks that Luffy's really cocky, but yeah. Of course, this is where Zoro says, "Even though you don't have a sword, I feel like you would have took one of mine and easily cut them down." Luffy says, "I mean, yes, but you're my, what's called member. I'm not going to take one of your swords. Unless I really need it." But yeah, this is where Nami says, "Then how about let's join up together and get the treasure from Buggy." This is where Luffy never really thought of like taking treasure or anything. Well, he did. He still kind of like he still has this like not personality, but he has kind of like Ace and Sabo kind of rub on him by trying to take shit and all that. So yeah, rub off on him. So yeah. So of course Luffy says, "Sure. What's your skill for at?" This is where she says she's like some kind of navigator. And this is where Luffy says, "Do you mind joining my crew?" She says, "No." Luffy says, "Then I don't really care about taking treasure. I'll take it all for myself if you don't want to join my crew." This is where Nami says, "Wait, no. I'll join your crew." This is where Luffy nods, but this is where Luffy kind of was next to Zoro, because Zoro's right next to him. Nami was kind of being sneaky and all that, a little bit trying to. Well, she was kind of further behind them, because she doesn't really, well, she can somewhat trust him a little bit, but this is where she doesn't still. This is where Luffy kind of looks at Zoro and says, "Zoro, look after her. Don't make sure that she doesn't steal any of our stuff." This is where Zoro said, nods, and of course, this is where Luffy, he gets to the Buggy Pirates, and of course, this is where the Buggy's there, and of course his crew. This is where Buggy says, "Ha! You must be the newest pirates, but who cares? Launch the Buggy Cannon!" It shoots at Luffy, and it doesn't even do anything. Luffy is just sitting there. This is where he says, "Look at this cannonball. It's pretty big, don't you think?" This is where everyone is like wide in their eyes. Zoro, he is done with seeing random shit from Luffy. Nami is kind of confused. This is where, well, Buggy says, "Shit, see another devil freezer?" Luffy, what he does is send a wave of Conqueror Spirit, knocking everyone out. Sees the giant cannonball that was kind of thrown at him, grabs it and starts tossing it like a fucking ball. This is where he launches it at what's called the other 2 members that are basically somewhat the vice captains of Buggy's members and all. Blows them up, and yeah. And this is where Zoro says, "Can I finally take my fight or not?" Luffy says, "You can fight the the clown. Just don't get stabbed by his devil fruit." His what? This is where Buggy sends out one of his arms, and of course it has a knife and all that. And of course he just says, "My devil fruit!" This is where Luffy grabs it, has armor hawking, and just kind of just throws back the arm back at Buggy and says, "Ugh, you bastard! You think you're stronger than me?" That's what Luffy says. "You know what? I'll take him on. You just take on the leftover members that are not dead." This is where Luffy, he appears right in front of Buggy, having a kick, but armament kick. An armament kick and all that. And of course, where Buggy says it's not gonna affect him, and then he goes flying into the ocean, into another island. But yeah. So with that happening, Luffy says that was such a drag in fighting them. And when not such a drag, he says that's kind of boring. It wasn't much of a fight. This is where Luffy goes to the treasure and all that, and collects it all into 2 bags, and gives one to Nami. She's shocked. Nami sees the treasure, and she says, "Huh?" Luffy says, "That's your fair share of half." "Zoro, how's the others?" "Well, boring. I easily took them out. You haven't even gave me any fun." Luffy says, "Don't worry, Zoro. Besides, you're kind of, how should I say, I wouldn't say weak, but you're not at the same level as how I use your sword. That's why I want to actually train you in how to use something special until I get other crewmates. But yeah, don't worry. You can fight against other people when we get there." Of course, is where what comes. People start getting out of their house, and of course, is where they say, "Wait, where's the buggy pirates?" This is where Luffy says, "Yo, the buggy pirates are gone. Also, here's the, treasure that Buggy, took away from you. Or the money, mostly." That's where the people are grateful to Luffy and all that. And Luffy kind of says that he can take this place as a territory, but he won't be here much, so yeah. Of course, they say they didn't mind or anything, because, well, yeah. Of course, some people are confused how the hell can Luffy see when he has a blindfold, but yeah, they don't question it. So yeah, with that happening, this is where, they all, Luffy, Nami, and Zoro leave. And of course, this is where Zoro asks, "So what's the next thing?" "To go find an actual pirate ship. This pirate ship is kind of weak as hell if you think about it. I can easily break through it, and yeah, we need another one. So, Nami, have you found another island?" Nami says, "Yeah, look straight ahead." This is where Luffy says, "I see." This is where Nami says, "How can you fucking see, though?" She doesn't say it out loud because she doesn't want to, kind of make Luffy mistrust her or not. But yeah. Zoro just doesn't care no more. He just, what the fuck? He just like, screw this. Of course, he knows this is the white, the ghost. The white hair ghost and all that. Well, yeah, that's basically what they call him. And Luffy does have a bounty over, 50 million. But yeah. This is where, Luffy is just saying, let's go to that, island. So when they get there, they still meet Usopp and his, kids and all. And Luffy's already kind of when Usopp says, "I have millions of people here," Luffy is right next to him saying, "I don't even see anyone." This is where Usopp and the 3 kids are wetting their eyes. Of course, the 3 kids already dipped, leaving Usopp there. And that's where Luffy says, "Hey there." That's where Luffy kind of thinks about it and sees him and says, "Aren't you Yosan's son?" That's where Usopp says, "Wait, you know my father?" This is where Luffy nods and says, "I have met him when I was younger." You look just like your father." This is where Usopp says, "Can you tell me more?" Of course, they go to a bar and all that. And of course, this is where Usopp says, "Then if you're looking for another crewmate, I can be the captain." Luffy, Nami, and even Zoro kind of ignore him. And of course, they say, "Wait, no." Usopp says, "Wait." This is where, they go towards the same house, the mansion and all that, and meet I forgot her name, but yeah. Of course, this is where Usopp's talking to her and all that. And of course, this is where Luffy, he noticed one of the butlers and all that, named Kara. I forgot his name and all. But of course, they kind of meet this person. Of course, this person noticed Luffy super fast from his white hair and was actually reading on a bounty of his. He says he's not tough. That's where Luffy says, huh, you look familiar to me. That's where Luffy pulls out, bounty, what's called paper, a bounty and all that, and says, you look like this cat person, aren't you? This is where he says, Captain Kudo, isn't that your name? From the Black Cats? This is where Kudo says, what? Shit. This is where he gives it to the rich girl and all that. And this is where she widened her eyes. And this is where just, Kudo says, then I guess I have to kill her faster and kill you all. This is where he rushes at Luffy. And, of course, it's not even affecting Luffy. Luffy says, it seems that you don't understand gravity, do you? This is where Kudo says, whatever. Even if I don't understand, Luffy says through hand signs, Chidori, and rushes at Kudo and just hit him right in the heart. Dies. Luffy says, that was easier than I expected. This is where everyone says, holy shit, he is not kidding when killing. But yeah, this is where he does talk to the rich girl and all that. And of course, this is where she does tell one of her butlers to kind of bring him towards what's called the ship. And of course, Luffy does say that he wants it and maybe some things on it. This is where he kind of brings out money. And this is where, well, the butler was confused where he actually kept that money. But Luffy says, don't worry about it. Luffy kept, like, what's called his money and all that, that he saved up with Ace and all that, from stealing and all that, was in his comic book dimension. So yeah. But with that happening, that's where Luffy gets up and of course, well, not gets up, he goes towards this crew and of course, well, they're getting attacked by, well, the Black Cats. Because the Black Cats never did get a chance and all that. And of course, where Luffy appears towards a guy that can manipulate and all that, with like his, kind of make you go under control of his. This is where Luffy appears in front of him and says, Red Curse Energy, red. Flicks him and he's gone. This is where Luffy goes to the others and, well, uses different jutsus like Earth Spikes and kills almost all of them. And of course, this is where, like, the vice captains of Kudo fight against Zoro, and Zoro easily cuts him down. Yeah, he's not hurt. This is where, well, Usopp says, I see. Well, they are very powerful. Nami says, yeah, very powerful. This is where, well, Luffy says, let's go. We gotta go to our new pirate ship. Of course, this is where they get stuff from the old pirate ship and all that. And yeah. This is where, well, Luffy gets what's called merry-go or whatever. I forgot what it's called. But yeah, of course, put things on it. And yeah, from the old ship. This is where Luffy says, what else do we need? This is where Usopp says, a cook, don't we? Well, not a cook. This is not Usopp that I say that. Nami said. Luffy looks at her and smiles. Nami can only think that Luffy is smiling at her. She doesn't know why. But yeah, it kind of feels warm to her. She doesn't know why. But of course, she never actually sees what's called Luffy's smile. Of course, when Usopp was kind of making the what's called flag and all that. So I think I didn't mention that Luffy does have the straw hat or not. So I'm going to say he doesn't because of his white hair and all. So yeah. So of course, this is where instead of being called the straw hats, they are called the white hair pirates. So yeah, because of Luffy. This is where, well, his hair is kind of always defying gravity. But yeah, of course, this is where Usopp kind of thinks about it and looks at, well, Luffy and kind of asks the question, why do you have a blindfold and how can you see? Luffy says, I don't know. Maybe I have nothing under my eyes. Maybe my eyes are cursed. Or maybe I could just see through my eyes. And that would never happen. You guys would never be able to see it. This is where Nami, Usopp, and even Zoro kind of felt down, but they have determination in their eyes to see Luffy's, well, under his blindfold and under his mask. So yeah, this is where Luffy, he goes to sleep, and yeah. Of course they try, but they find out that Luffy has his domain, well, not domain, his limitless on, so yeah, they can't do anything. So, of course, this is where, well, we go into them going towards the well, Barachi, or what, not Barachi, they were going to the restaurant before they got interrupted with what's it called, Johnny and Yusan? I forgot, Yusan. I think that's the name. And of course, they were about to attack Luffy until Luffy says stop. Well, Johnny tried to attack Luffy. And of course, this is where Johnny stops. And of course, this is where Johnny sees Zoro. And yeah, that goes the same thing. Of course, Nami still kind of like gives him lemonade and all that for Yusun or whatever his name was again. But yeah, of course, this is where they meet a Marine captain. And of course, instead of Luffy kind of sending the cannonball at what's called the restaurant, he instead says lightning storm, lightning shock storm. That's where multiple lightning bolts kind of came from the sky and destroy the ship. That's where they are kind of shocked, but then again, this is Luffy, so they're not shocked. Johnny and the other guy are shocked though, so yeah. Of course, they get to the restaurant, and of course, where Luffy like walks in, and of course, is where one of the people says, "What will you pay? What will you use to pay?" Luffy says, "Money, of course. What do you think I will pay with? A head or something?" This is where the person just smiles and says, "Then come right in." This is where Luffy is sitting down, and of course, this is where Sanji still kind of being a simp and simping towards his call. Well, Nami? But yeah. And of course, this is what's it called. Luffy is kind of just doesn't care that much. Of course, this is where everyone is actually waiting until to see what's called Luffy's face. So Johnny and what's called the other guy, right now they don't really care what's underneath not Naruto, Luffy's face. But of course, Usopp, Nami, and even Zoro, even though they don't look like it, they really want to see what's underneath what's called Luffy's mask when he eats. And of course, this is where Luffy just asks for some water and, well, even a straw. And of course, this is where he just puts a straw and starts drinking like that. Of course, everyone else is eating, but of course, they do face plant in their mind. And they're like, seriously? Is he just going to drink water? Luffy really doesn't care. He can go without food for a while. This is where Luffy doesn't eat because he doesn't want to show anyone his face. So yeah. Of course, where Luffy kind of asked to see the head chef or something like that. And then of course they said, why was that? I want to actually ask him a question, that's all. This is where they say sure. This is where I forgot his name, but this is where he comes out and says, what would you like to talk to me? Luffy says, oh, I just want to know if you have any extra chefs so they can join my pirate crew. This is where, I think his name was Zephun, kind of just said, I might have an idea, but, I will not be fairly certain. Ghost, white-haired ghost. That's where Luffy noticed and says, oh, you already found out who I was. Of course, your bounty is 50 million. That's where Luffy says, that is true. This is where he says, how can you see under that blindfold? This is where Luffy kind of smiles and says, oh, that's for me to, know and for you never to find out. That's where Seth says, whatever. That's where Luffy says, okay, we'll see you then. Of course, this is where, I'm actually thinking of leaving it off right here. So yeah, have a nice potato day, potato night, potato seed, potato. But yeah, I'm kind of getting tired, so I'm going to leave it off here. Potato.